All right, I don't even know how to start this video. I'm legitimately in shock right now. Less than 24 hours after the Toronto Blue Jays missed out on Kyle Tucker, and now this happens. Bo Bichette, one of the only realistic options left for the Jays to add an elite bat to this lineup, just signed with the New York Mets. Not the Phillies, not staying in Toronto. The New York Mets, the same team that was competing with the Jays for Kyle Tucker. This is an absolute nightmare. I'm going to break down everything that just happened, the insane contract details, the position change, all of it. And I'm warning you right now, if you're a Blue Jays fan, this is going to hurt. So make sure you're subscribed, because we're diving deep into what might be the worst 48 hours in recent Blue Jays history. I woke up this morning feeling okay. Not great, but okay. We missed on Kyle Tucker, that sucked. But at least we still had a shot at Bo Bichette. At least there was still hope that the Jays could add a legitimate star to this roster. And then this drops. Ken Rosenthal reports 9 minutes ago that Bo Bichette is signing with the New York Mets. 3 years, $126 million. No deferrals. Opt-outs after year 1 and year 2. This is a monster contract. This is over $42 million per year. And the crazy part? He's probably going to opt out after next season if he has a good year, hit free agency again, and we're going to have this exact same conversation all over again. Let me put this in perspective. We thought Bo was going to get something like 8 years, $200 million. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. But the Mets got desperate after missing out on Kyle Tucker. And they threw this insane short-term deal at him. It's essentially the same structure as the Alex Bregman deal, but with an extra $2 million per year. Good for Bo, honestly. Get your money. But this is absolutely brutal for Blue Jays fans. We have to watch him play alongside Marcus Semien, one of his best friends from his time in Toronto. And I'm sure that played a huge factor in this decision. Now, here's the thing. I don't believe for a second that if the Mets had gotten Kyle Tucker, they would have made this offer to Bo Bichette. So in a weird way, maybe Tucker going to the Dodgers was actually worse than him going to the Mets, because the Mets panicked. I don't want to say they panicked, but they absolutely panicked. They missed the playoffs last year. They had an awful offseason up to this point. They needed to make a splash, and they did. They landed one of the best free agents available with a massive deal. And the money doesn't even really matter at this point. I would have been fine if the Jays paid this amount. There are opt-outs after year 1 and 2. It's not like they're locked into a terrible long-term contract. And by the way, just reported a minute ago by John Heyman, there's a full no-trade clause included in this contract. So Bo has complete control. He can opt out whenever he wants. He can't be traded. And he's getting paid over $42 million per year. This is a player-friendly deal in every possible way. And the Mets were willing to do it because Steve Cohen doesn't care about money. He wants to win, and he's willing to spend whatever it takes. Now, I want to talk about what led up to this because there were so many reports flying around yesterday and this morning. We had people talking about the Jays and Bo Bichette having no damaged relationship. We had speculation about the Jays getting Bo instead of Kyle Tucker. We had everyone thinking Bo was going to the Phillies. Ken Rosenthal literally said this morning that he would be flabbergasted if Bo didn't end up in Philadelphia. And then, out of nowhere, the Mets swoop in and get it done. My guess is that Bo essentially had a deal in place with the Phillies, but he was waiting to see what happened with Kyle Tucker. Because the Mets and Steve Cohen probably told him, hey, if Tucker doesn't sign with us, we're going to give you a monster deal. We'll take the money we were going to spend on Tucker and give it to you instead. And that's exactly what happened. Now, here's where it gets even crazier. Bo Bichette is expected to play third base for the New York Mets. Third base, not shortstop, not second base, third base. I don't even know if he has the capability to play third. No disrespect to Bo, but he didn't look great at short. We don't really know how good he would have been at second base, and now they're putting him at third. The hot corner requires a strong arm, solid range, good instincts. Does Bo have that? I guess we're about to find out. It seems like the Mets are saying, screw the defense, we want an elite offensive infield. You've got Francisco Lindor at short, Marcus Semien at second, and now Bo Bichette at third. That's a stacked infield on paper, even if the defense is questionable. And let me tell you, when I look at Bo's defensive metrics, it's not pretty. He's in the 36th percentile for arm strength and the 1st percentile for outs above average. 1st percentile. That means he's literally one of the worst defenders in baseball by that metric. So, is 36th percentile arm strength enough to play third base? I don't know. The Mets clearly don't care. They're betting on his bat being so good that the defensive deficiencies won't matter. And honestly, with the way Steve Cohen operates, they're probably right. They'll just outscore teams and worry about defense later. Now, there was a report that came out a couple hours ago that I was planning to make a video about. It said that Bo had some internal reservations about playing on turf long-term and how it was affecting his body. So maybe one of the reasons he didn't want to return to Toronto was because of the turf at Rogers Center. Which honestly, I don't fully understand, but whatever. The point is, he's gone. Bo Bichette is a New York Met, and the Blue Jays are left scrambling to figure out their next move. And that next move, almost certainly, is going to involve Cody Bellinger. With Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette off the market, Bellinger is now the top hitter available. And I'll have a full video covering this soon, but I want to address it quickly here. There are some people, like Joshua Kuznick, who are saying they're not entirely sure Bellinger is someone the Jays would target. The argument is that forcing Addison Barger into a reduced role made sense for Kyle Tucker, but does it make sense for a guy who had a .715 OPS on the road last year? And look, I get the concern. Bellinger benefited massively from playing at Wrigley Field and that short porch. His road numbers weren't great. But here's the thing. I'm higher on Cody Bellinger than a lot of people. Bellinger is a fantastic defender. He's really, really good offensively when he's right. He was an MVP candidate with the Dodgers. Yes, he's had his struggles, and yes, there are red flags, but he's still a quality player who can contribute in multiple ways. He can play left field, he can play center field, he can play first base if needed. He's versatile, he's a left-handed bat, and he addresses a need for the Blue Jays. Now, is he Kyle Tucker? Absolutely not. Is he Bo Bichette? No. But he's something, and at this point, the Jays need to add somebody. If the Jays sign Bellinger, here's how I see it playing out. You put him in left field as the everyday starter. That allows you to trade Nathan Lukes, who's been decent but isn't a long-term solution. Bellinger can also play center field, so if Dalton Varsho leaves after this upcoming season, you've got a replacement ready to go. Yes, signing Bellinger would take some at-bats away from guys like Anthony Santander and Addison Barger. But that's the reality of building a competitive roster. You need depth, you need options, and you need guys who can perform when called upon. Now, would Bellinger reduce Barger's role? Probably a little bit. But in theory, you've got Ernie Clement at third, you split time between Barger in right field and third base, and you let Bellinger handle left field and occasional center field duties. It's not a perfect solution, but it's workable. And honestly, at this point, workable is better than standing pat and hoping internal development saves the day. The Blue Jays need to make a move, and Bellinger is the most realistic option on the board right now. Here's the reality. The Blue Jays have had an absolutely nightmarish last 48 hours. They missed out on Kyle Tucker, who went to the Dodgers in a trade that nobody saw coming. They missed out on Bo Bichette, who just signed a massive short-term deal with the Mets, and now they're sitting here trying to figure out Plan C. Or maybe we're on Plan D at this point. I don't even know anymore. What I do know is that the pressure is on Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro to do something, anything. Because right now, Blue Jays fans are furious, and rightfully so. The frustrating part is that the Jays were in on both Tucker and Bichette. They made offers. They tried to compete, but they came up short. And now, the rest of the division is getting better while the Jays are stuck in neutral. The Yankees still have Aaron Judge and a strong roster. The Orioles are loaded with young talent. The Rays are always competitive. The The Red Sox are making moves. And the Blue Jays? They're hoping that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette, oh wait, Bo's gone now, can carry them to the playoffs. It's not a great situation. And let's talk about the fan base for a second. Blue Jays fans have been incredibly patient. They've watched this team underperform for years. They've watched other teams in the division get better. They've watched ownership talk about competing while refusing to spend like a big market team. And now, after missing out on 2 major targets in less than 2 days, the frustration is boiling over. I get it. I'm frustrated too. This was supposed to be the offseason where the Jays went all in. This was supposed to be the year they made a real push. And instead, we're talking about Cody Bellinger as a consolation prize. Now, I don't want to completely trash the idea of signing Bellinger because I do think he can help this team. But let's be real. He's not the caliber of player that Kyle Tucker or Bo Bichette is. He's a tier below, and that's the problem. The Blue Jays needed to add an elite bat, and they're going to end up with a good bat instead. Good isn't bad, but good doesn't win you a World Series. Good gets you to the wild card game and maybe a first-round exit. And after years of waiting, Blue Jays fans deserve better than that. So what happens next? Well, the Jays are almost certainly going to pursue Cody Bellinger aggressively. They might also look at trade options. Maybe they circle back on some of the other free agents who are still available. Maybe they make a surprise move that nobody's talking about yet. But whatever they do, it needs to happen soon, because right now, the offseason is slipping away, and the Jays are running out of options. And here's the other thing. Even if the Jays sign Bellinger, even if they make another move or two, the roster still has holes. The pitching staff needs help. The bullpen could use reinforcements. The infield depth is questionable. There's a lot of work to be done, and we're already deep into the offseason. Every day that passes without a significant addition is another day that the competition gets further ahead. I also want to address the Bo Bichette situation one more time, because it stings. Bo was a homegrown star. He was drafted by the Blue Jays, developed by the Blue Jays, and became one of the faces of the franchise. And now he's gone. He's going to be playing for the Mets, wearing a different uniform, contributing to a different team's success. And the worst part? He's going to be playing alongside Marcus Semien, his former teammate and close friend. That's going to be tough to watch for Blue Jays fans. Every time the Mets play the Jays, it's going to be a reminder of what could have been. But at the end of the day, you can't blame Bo for taking the deal he took. 3 years, $126 million, with opt-outs after year 1 and 2. That's a phenomenal contract. He gets paid, he gets flexibility, and he gets to play for a team that's committed to winning. The Blue Jays could have matched that offer, maybe they even tried, but the Mets were willing to go the extra mile. And in today's game, that's what it takes to land elite talent. So where does this leave the Blue Jays? Honestly, in a tough spot. They need to pivot quickly. They need to make moves. They need to show the fan base that they're serious about competing. Because right now, it doesn't feel like they are. It feels like they're content to be good enough, and good enough isn't going to cut it. Not in this division. Not with the talent that's out there. I'll have more videos coming soon breaking down what the Jays should do next, potential trade targets, free agent options, all of it. But for now, I just want to acknowledge how brutal this has been for Blue Jays fans. Losing out on Kyle Tucker hurt. Losing out on Bo Bichette hurts even more. And if the Jays don't make a significant move soon, this offseason is going to go down as one of the most disappointing in franchise history. Let me know in the comments what you think the Jays should do next. Should they go all in on Cody Bellinger? Should they make a trade? Should they just blow it up and start over? I want to hear your thoughts. And make sure you're subscribed, because we're going to be covering every single development as it happens. This offseason has been a roller coaster, and it's not over yet. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.